So this shows that the Brahmanas who are deeply devoted to the higher life, the spiritual life, are very particular about accepting gifts from others. So this mantra is telling us, if by chance I have transgressed these rules and have incurred sin by accepting food or anything else from other people, not knowing their character and thereby incurring sin, please get rid of that sin, purify me and strengthen me. Then we go to the second mantra. Yanme manasa vacha karmana va dushkritam kritam tanma indro varuno brihaspati savita cha punantu punah punah. Manasa vacha karmana va me kritam yat dushkritam naha tat indraha varunaha brihaspatihi savitacha punah punaha punantu. Again, the prayer is addressed to all these: Indra, Varuna, Brihaspati and Savita. Whatever sin I have committed through my mind, through my speech, through my actions, let all that sin be forgiven, be destroyed, and let me be purified by Indra, Varuna, Brihaspati and Savita. So these are the four Vedic deities to whom the prayer is being addressed. So one point we have to note here: Papa, evil, sin can be committed not only by the hands but also by the speech and the mind. So if we abuse somebody and it hurts that person, then naturally we have committed a sin. If we have thought evil thoughts against others, and these evil thought currents will definitely affect those people, then we will be committing a sin, we will be harming those people. Of course, it's very difficult to maintain that purity at the thought level. But can we not do at least one thing? Suppose an evil thought comes in our minds towards other people whom we have not liked, who may have harmed us. Just pray to the Lord, "O Lord, forgive me." You bless them, you protect them. "O God, forgive them, they know not what they do." So Christ, while dying on the cross, prayed like this, that the supreme ideal of ahimsa, even supposing there are other people who are inimical towards us, they have gone practically out of the way to harm us, our attitude should be not revenge, not hitting back, but praying for their welfare. This will have a twofold effect. This will protect us from the evil effects of their evil deeds. And secondly, it will change their own mind, their minds also gradually. Once their minds are changed, then the future possibilities of evil from them is also eliminated. Ultimately, to the same self which is living in every one of us. That Sarvatma Bhava is the greatest truth and the highest truth, but it's a question of experience. Unless and until we get the direct experience, we can only pray to get that attitude which will lead us to that experience ultimately. So here he is telling, whatever sin I have committed, by word of mouth, by deeds or by thoughts, all that should be destroyed and I should be purified. Now, in the Yoga Sutras, while dealing with the subject called Vitarka, Patanjali has given us some special instructions. Vitarka badhane pratipaksha bhavanam. Suppose our minds are attacked by or overcome by vitarka. then we have to put the opposite idea into the mind. What is vitarka? Himsadaya, he says. Now ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. These 5 form what is called yama. The opposite of each one of these is vitarka. Opposite of ahimsa is himsa. Opposite of satya is asatya. So they are called as vitarkas because they disturb the mind. They take our minds away from the path of the Lord. So when such ideas and thoughts and feelings and emotions come into our mind, what should we do? Patanjali says, you put the idea which is directly opposite to that. So it is something like cancelling that the effect of that with this. Vitarkaha himsadaya. Here, while explaining that, he has given a beautiful phrase which has amplified this idea further. Vitarkaha himsadaya krita karita anumodidaha dukkha ajnana ananta phalaha. We have to think like this. Vitarka means himsa and so on. Violence, harming other people. Now this can be of 3 types, he says. First is krita. The man may have done it directly. Second, he may not have done it, but he may have induced somebody else to do it. Karita. Arranging for it. I don't want to beat that fellow, you go and beat him. Karita. That is equally sinful. Third, you may not have done it, you may not have caused it to be done by others, but still, if A is attacking B, you say it is very good, then you are equally at fault. Krita, Karita, Anmodita. All the 3 are equally dangerous as far as spiritual life is concerned. So how difficult this life is, one can imagine. But at the same time, by the grace of God, we will be able to overcome all such obstacles. So whatever papa has been acquired by us, by word of mouth, by speech, by thoughts, by deeds, all that sin we want to be destroyed, and we want ourselves to be purified by Indra, Varuna, Brihaspati and Savita. Who is Indra? Indra is Devaraja, the king of the gods ruling in heaven, and Indra is almost equal to Paramatman in the Rig Veda. A very, very important and a very, very powerful deity of the Vedic times. Then we have Brihaspati. Brihaspati, if Indra represents the Kshatriya power, Brihaspati represents the Brahmana power. He is the guru of the gods, Deva Guru. So he is the very personification of wisdom, spiritual wisdom. So he also has the power to destroy our sins and elevate us, protect us. Then we have the third, Savitri, the sun god, Surya, who is Sarvaloka Chakshu, who is practically supervising over the whole universe, who is the very personification of light and wisdom. Where there is sun, there can be no darkness. Where there is jnana, there can be no ajnana. So he represents, by his very nature as light, he represents jnana. So the prayers are addressed to all these 3. Again the Rig Veda says they are different aspects of one and the same Supreme Lord. Ekam Satvipraha Bahuda Vadanti, Indram Mitram, Varunam, etc. All these names are again repeated there. One interesting point has been made out by the commentators. They say that these gods have 2 aspects. One Adhyatma and the other Adhidaiva. Adhyatma, Atma is body. Adhyatma means inside the body. They have a role to play inside the body. They have a role to play outside in the universe. You take for instance Indra. Now Indra is a deity who who has a dual role to play. He is the deity for Bala, for Shakti, for strength. It's Devaraja, he has got his Vajrayudha. So the Asuras quake before him. And Indra is the deity living inside this body, Adhyatma, controlling what is called Bala. If I have got Bala, physical strength, it is Indra who is responsible for that. So by praying to Indra, we can increase our strength, and the strength can be directed in the right direction also. So Indra has a place there as well as here. So when we pray to Indra, we can pray for purification at both the levels, outside as well as inside. Inside, the body and the mind must become pure. Outside, the circumstances in which we live should be conducive to a better way of life. Similarly, Brihaspati. Brihaspati, the Devaguru, the personification of wisdom, spiritual wisdom, is the Adhipati for walk, speech. So living inside this body, he is controlling our organ of speech. So if we pray to him, he will see that this organ of speech will never utter falsehood, will never utter anything that will harm other people or hurt other people. So Indra will help us to use our Bala in the right direction, not to harm others. Brihaspati can help us to control our speech so that only truth is spoken, and what is spoken doesn't hurt other people. And similarly Surya, he is responsible for eyesight. So there he is giving light to the whole universe. Here, because of his power, the eye is able to see. If Surya withdraws his power, we are finished, we cannot see. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a beautiful description of a dying man. The person is dying, and all the friends and relatives have gathered around the bed. So they are trying to find out whether he is still conscious. Can you recognize me? Can you see me? They try to open the eyes. He is not able to see. Then the Upanishad says, Aditya, the Shakti Aditya, the deity Aditya which was here has left him. It has gone and merged in the Aditya there. So the power of seeing is gone. Similarly, the power of speech. Similarly, the power of thinking and so on. Mind. So the Adhyatma elements have merged in the Adhidaiva elements, leaving the body just as a physical body, losing its normal powers of function. So the prayers are addressed to them to purify oneself of the sins that might have been committed through speech or mind or hands. Then we have the next mantra. Namo Gnaye Sumate Nama Indraya Namo Varunaya Namo Varunyai Namo Dhyaha. The very simple shloka, there are no complications at all in this. Apsumate Agnaye Namaha, Indraya Namaha, Varunaya Namaha, Varunyai Namaha. We bow down to Indra, we bow down to Varuna. And we bow down to Agni, who is Varuni. This is very interesting. Agni is fire. Varuna is the deity of water, it represents water. So we bow down to Agni or fire, who is inside water. Now how can there be fire inside water? Water and fire, they cannot go together. But there is a belief that there is a submarine fire which devours the waters of the ocean. And there is a Puranic story behind this. Once, the Kshatriyas, they got angry with the Brahmanas of the Bhrigu race. They were called as Bhrigus, the descendants of Bhrigu Vamsha. So they started butchering them. All men and women and children, they were all butchered. It just happened that one of the ladies who was pregnant somehow managed to escape. the wrath of these people, hid herself somewhere. Now, she transferred the child in her womb into her thigh, uru. And in course of time, a baby was born. He was called as Aurva. One who was born out of uru or thigh was called as Aurva. Now Aurva, as soon as he was born, he was a conscious, intelligent young boy. Very funny and interesting stories. Then he asked the mother. He had already sensed that the entire race has been wiped out. The mother told him what had happened. So he retired into the forest and did tremendous tapas. And that tapas was to destroy these Kshatriyas who had destroyed his race. So the Kopagni, the Agni or the fire which rose out of his anger, was practically, it went up to the Pitruloka. And the Pitrus, that is the people who had died here and had become beings in the Pitruloka, they were affected by it. They thought it is not good. Whatever has happened has happened. It's not good for a descendant of ours to have so much of anger and hatred and feeling of revenge. So we have to see that this boy is pacified. So they appeared before him and asked him to pacified him, asked him to give up the anger. Now the anger has already been produced, it has taken the form of a fire, what to do with it? Then they said, all right, let it be put into the ocean, because ocean is full of water and water is capable of destroying this anger. So this anger, which had taken the form of a fire, was called as Vadavagni, because it had the face of or the head of a horse, and it was thrown into the ocean. It went into the bottom of the ocean, started living there. So that is the story. That means the Agni who is inside the fire, or inside water, or the water who contains Agni or fire within him, we bow down to that Agni, bow down to that water or the deity of water. That's the idea. We can simply take it as the prayer addressed to Abdevatas who also contain the element of fire within themselves. So incidentally we can learn from this story how bad it is for us to cultivate anger and allow anger to grow. How to conquer anger, how to overcome anger is a question which is often asked by spiritual seekers. Sometimes devotees come to us and put this question. Well, when we were children and when we got angry and wanted to fight with others, our elders, the grandfathers of the older days, were perhaps far better than the grandfathers of the present days. They had lot of patience, lot of wisdom, and they were practically the heads of the joint families. The peace and harmony in the family was practically maintained by them. So they used to tell us, ಕೋಪ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು 1 ರಿಂದ 100 ತನಕ ಎಣಿಸಪ್ಪ. So if you sit in a place and count from 1 to 100, the anger will go. Another senior Swamiji once told me, just in the course of our conversation, when you become angry, if you become conscious that you are angry, half the anger is gone or controlled. Very often we are not conscious at all. It just goes out of control. Yes, I am angry, I am getting angry. Yes, now I can get it into my grip and pull it back. There is a very interesting book, Spiritual Combat, by Lorenzo Schipoli, an Italian mystic. It's one of the famous books used by the Catholics for their personal sadhana. There he has dealt with all these weaknesses, human weaknesses, and how they can be controlled. As regards anger, he says, first of all, when you are not angry, when you are in the normal mood, sit quietly in a place. Then think, reflect a little. When did I get angry last? Maybe 2 days back, 3 days back, 15 days back. Now you are in a position to analyze the whole situation. You start thinking in the mind, how did it start? Somebody said something, something happened, and then the anger started and developed. And then you did some foolish thing, somebody else also did it, and things went out of control, harming both the persons involved. Now, after having analyzed the whole situation, you now know what exactly started the problem, how and when. Now you make up your mind, next time I will not do that. Buddhi netgirogle sankalpa ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Next time when such a situation comes, it definitely helps. Suppose it helps only 25%, let us say. 75% again. Again have a second round of Atma Vichara. So like this it is possible to control our weaknesses. Ultimately it is Atma Vichara that helps us. In fact, Brahmananji says in the Eternal Companion, every day, the night before going to bed, just close your eyes and reflect upon what you have done from morning till the night. So many good things, so many bad things, so many useless things. Now, you plan for the next day. You need not bother about the next 50 years. Only for the next day you plan. Tomorrow I will not do this. Tomorrow I will do this. Increasing the proportion of the good deeds and decreasing the proportion of the bad ones. So like this, by tackling our inner problems on the day-to-day basis, it is possible for us to improve our personality. We have seen persons who were almost biologically angry, who used to get angry like that, completely eliminating anger from their lives. Once the consciousness is roused that it is bad, it must be controlled, it's an enemy in spiritual life, and efforts are made, serious and sincere efforts are made, these weaknesses can be transcended. And I can tell you from the experience of many of our monks that sincere prayer to the Lord helps. After all, there is a limit to human efforts. Yes, I know that anger is bad. I want to fight it, I want to control it, I want to eliminate it. But in spite of it, it comes because it has become a deep-rooted samskara carried over thousands and thousands of past lives. It's not easy to eliminate it. Then, with tears in our ears, in our eyes, if we can pray to the Lord, this is my weakness, please free me from it. And that works wonderfully well. By the grace of the Lord, anything can be achieved in life.